What's up, treasure hunters? You won't believe what I just pulled out of the most impossible location I've ever attempted. This adventure took me 3 days, countless scraped knuckles, and one very close call with a collapsing wall. But what I found? A 120-year-old red ruby stone that's been hiding in plain sight. Let's dive in. So, here's the deal. I got a tip from an old-timer in town about a forgotten Victorian-era building that's been abandoned since the early 1900s. He mentioned something about a ruby hidden in the foundation by the original builder. Now, I've heard wild stories before, but something about this one felt different. The building? It's literally crumbling apart, wedged between two active construction sites, and the entrance I need is blocked by about 15 feet of collapsed debris. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Before we start digging, let me show you what we're working with. This Victorian building dates back to 1905. The original owner was apparently a wealthy merchant who had a thing for hiding valuables in unusual places. Legend says he embedded precious stones into the building's foundation as a sort of time capsule. Most people think it's just a myth, but I did my homework. I spent 2 weeks in the local archives, going through old newspapers, building plans, and family records. And guess what? I found a diary entry from the builder's grandson mentioning a ruby red as blood, sealed where only the most determined will find it. That was all I needed. Now, look at this place. The main structure is barely standing. We can't go through the front because the entire second floor collapsed inward. The windows are sealed with decades of grime and rust, but I noticed something on the original blueprints. There's a crawl space beneath the foundation that runs along the eastern wall. That's our way in. All right, gear check. I've got my headlamp, obviously, a small pickaxe for breaking through any concrete, my endoscope camera to see into tight spaces before I commit, gloves because I value my fingers, and my trusty crowbar. If we're getting to that foundation, we're going to need to pry our way through some seriously old construction. Here's the entrance to the crawl space. And by entrance, I mean a 2-foot gap between the ground and a rotting wooden beam that looks like it could give way any second. This is what I'm talking about when I say hardest place to reach. I'm literally squeezing into a space that hasn't been disturbed in over a century. Okay, going in. It's tight. Really tight. The smell down here is absolutely rank. It's like mold, rot, and thyme all mixed together. My headlamp barely cuts through the darkness, and I can see roots from the trees outside have broken through the walls. This place is more nature than building at this point. Oh man, there's water dripping from somewhere. My knees are already soaked, and I'm only 10 feet in. The blueprint showed the hiding spot should be about 30 feet along this wall, near where the foundation meets the old chimney base. 20 feet in now. I just had to stop because there's a massive piece of timber blocking the path. This thing must weigh 200 pounds. Let me see if I can shift it. There we go. Okay, keep moving. Wait. Do you see that? Look at the wall right here. There's a section where the brickwork is different. The mortar is a slightly different color and the pattern breaks. This has to be it. This is exactly where the blueprints indicated. I'm going to use the pickaxe carefully here. We don't want to damage anything valuable. Just chipping away at the mortar. It's old, so it's crumbling pretty easily. Each brick I remove reveals more of what's behind. Oh my God. There's something here. I can see red. I can actually see red behind these bricks. My hands are shaking. This is real. This is actually real. Got it. I've got the brick out. And behind it, there's a small iron box, maybe 6 inches square. It's rusty, covered in oxidation, but I can see it was once painted black. The lock has completely corroded away. Opening it now. Inside, there's cloth wrapping. Silk, maybe. It's deteriorated, but I can still make out the pattern. And underneath, there it is, the ruby stone. It's roughly cut, probably about 15 carats, Deep red with natural inclusions. This is absolutely a stone from the Victorian era. They didn't have modern cutting techniques back then. The color is incredible. Even in my headlamp, it's glowing like a piece of captured fire. Let me get back outside so you can see this properly in natural light. Crawling back out, almost there, and we're out. Look at this beauty in the daylight. The red is even more spectacular than I thought. You can see why they called it ruby red as blood. The stone has that antique cushion cut that was popular in the early 1900s. There are a few chips on the edges, probably from when it was originally set in the foundation. What makes this discovery so special isn't just the ruby itself, it's the story. This stone was deliberately hidden by someone 120 years ago, waiting for someone curious enough and crazy enough to go looking for it. The builder wanted this to be found, but only by someone who truly earned it. I reached out to a gemologist friend, and based on the photos, she estimates this stone could be worth anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000, depending on the origin and exact clarity. But honestly, the value to me is in the hunt. This is what I live for.